I played a lot of games in 2019, more so than last year. That's why this is a completely separate video. I apologize for the video being so late, but here it is regardless. Here are the best games that I played in 2019. Let's just jump into it. Bloodstained Ritual of the Night is just about everything I could have wanted it to be. A fun, fast-paced callback to my second favorite video game series of all time. I'm glad the game came out the way it did. Kickstarter video games usually have some sort of hilarious failure story, so it's nice to see a game not only actually come out, but get some critical praise as well. The 2.5D graphics aren't the prettiest, and it took a while to get used to, but the gameplay was so enticing that the presentation took a back seat, and I was able to have a really fun time with the game. Mario Maker was a really important game to me and this channel. It came out right as I was getting my aspirations to become a YouTuber, and some of the first videos that gained any traction on my channel were Mario Maker level showcases. So naturally, Mario Maker 2 from the get-go looked rather appealing to me. So much more content! The user base for this game is insane! The quality of the levels people are making is nuts. I've had hours of fun with friends just going through levels. Unfortunately, the online multiplayer feels really rushed, and like Nintendo didn't even care to implement it properly. It's sad that an element that meant a lot to a lot of people was so underdeveloped. I can't believe I bought this. When I heard that Arc System Works and WayForward were teaming up for a River City project, I had one question. Will there be cute girls? And holy shit did they deliver! I've been yearning for a good beat 'em up ever since I recently got on a huge Streets of Rage kick. Replaying old ones is fine, but getting new beat 'em ups that are really good is just the best. River City Girls is a lot of fun, with a charming plot, gorgeous presentation, cute voice acting, and infectiously fun gameplay. It's a game that I've had a hard time putting down. Seriously, I've been playing this game instead of working on this video. I picked up the physical copy from Limited Run Games, so that means I actually had to wait like an extra month to play it. But I got a manual and a little CD, it's totally worth it. Five Nights at Freddy's VR Help Wanted not only wins the award for longest game title of the year, but also wins the oh fuck I'm back into this shit award. What I thought was going to be a compilation of the series' best moments in VR ended up being a game with integral parts to the series lore. Do you know what I did? I went back and played all 6 of the previous games, and damn it, now I'm in love with this series again. But back to the VR one. This gameplay is so much more stress-inducing than anything else we've seen in this series before. The VR adds a whole nother layer of fear. Having to actually move your body around to switch the cameras or to put the mask on, combined with actually seeing the animatronics move, is truly unsettling. In previous games, you would never actually see the animatronics moving through the restaurant. It would just kind of be like a slideshow of you going through the camera. But here, you can actually see them moving, walking towards your office. It's horrifying. This game is actually scary, and I really recommend it. If Five Nights has never really been your thing, or if you've never been scared by it, I highly recommend playing Five Nights at Freddy's VR Help Wanted. Well, here we finally are. I discussed this game's first trailer a very long time ago in my E3 2016 video. What did young PacJeff have to say?
After PT and Kojima's falling out with Konami, I really had no idea what he'd have in store for us next. And then when he walked on the stages of E3 and everyone lost their minds, he showed us, well, this odd cutscene.
Shut up, you fucking ghoul. Okay, ignoring that, I finally played Death Stranding, and I really liked it. Saying it's a Kojima game is the easiest way to describe it. You really know what kind of experience you're getting into. Gameplay will, at times, take a major backseat to story and world building. It's just something you have to expect with Kojima. Thankfully, Death Stranding has an engaging story and interesting gameplay. It's not addicting, but it's not bad either. Having to manage the weight of your packages and the terrain of the land makes for a really stressful experience. Nearly losing your packages is the most nerve-wracking thing I've experienced all year. This game was one of the biggest releases of 2019, and ignoring all the controversy, I really liked it. It's one of my favorites, and I'm glad, to me at least, it delivered. You know, I had some passing interest in Pokemon Sword and Shield, but I never actually played it. It came out at a bad time, and I just didn't have the money for it. But I still want to shove Scorbunny in the thumbnail. So instead of me talking about it, I'll get someone else to talk about it. Everybody welcome my friend BladeMountain.
I remember the uncertainty that surrounded the Pokemon franchise as it was moving to the Nintendo Switch in early 2018. If I had to summarize the direction as I saw it at the time in one word, it would have been worry. Not to be super selfish with my own experiences or anything, but they were trending downwards with each release in the 3DS era for the most part, with one exception. So 2018 came and went, and my nervousness about the series' future mostly stayed consistent through the release of Let's Go Eevee and Let's Go Pikachu. That's a game I thought had a lot of good ideas, but didn't really scratch the itch for a new Pokemon game for someone who's played every generation. And then in 2019, the actual next Pokemon game was announced, and the internet hated it. Or at least hated the idea of it. Somewhat because the first few times the game was shown off, it looked a bit too much like an upscaled 3DS game with the reused Pokemon models and the N64 looking tree that somehow went viral, but mostly because they told everyone that not every Pokemon would be making the trip to the Galar region. But we all know about Dexit. Chances are, even if you've never wanted to play a Pokemon game in your life but have clicked on this video because you're interested in gaming, you've still heard about Dexit. Moving on. Waves of pessimism and optimism traded blows on my lead up to getting my copy of Pokemon Shield, and I'm pleased to say the optimistic side was the one to favor. Pokemon Shield is not only the best Pokemon game in several years, I wouldn't hesitate to call it the best since Gen 5's Pokemon Black and White, with the tiniest of disclaimers to say I never played Black 2 or White 2. As a first impression, it might not have impressed many, but I found the Galar region absolutely gorgeous. It was a ton of fun to see all the different areas that Game Freak designed, and there's a ton of variety. I was impressed with the final city of Wyndon. Thought it was cool to see a seaside town like Hulbury. I love the aesthetic of Balanlea, and the soccer pitch-style gym arenas were a treat every time I entered one. Everything just looks so good. From the character design to the updated trainer models to the scenery, it's just a really pretty game. That said, it does make the reused Pokemon models more glaring than it otherwise would be, but it's something I'm willing to overlook, because honestly, the hate for these particular Switch Pokemon models is a little bit overblown in my opinion. The evolution to the graphics to the Switch has resulted, finally, in a consistently good-looking 3D Pokemon main series game for arguably the first time. In any case, what shouldn't be debatable is the continuation of us getting consistently excellent Pokemon designs, something that thankfully hasn't stopped even through the more underwhelming games. Something that's also excellent is the music, which is one of the strongest soundtracks in the entire series, and one that thankfully doesn't repeat too many Gen 1 songs within them. They chose to evolve in this regard as well, rather than rely on nostalgia, and I thank them very much for that. The new additions we got are also excellent. The wild area, while a little underused in the main plot, is a lot of fun to explore, and the Pokemon Camp is a delightful addition that helped me start to love yet another evolution, much to the delight of my friends who are already annoyed by me talking about them far too much. Perhaps my favorite part of the experience, though, is the AI behind trainer battles, which is, I'm pleased to say, excellent. In my experience playing through the game normally, which is to say I didn't overpower my team by grinding more than an average player would have, I found the AI consistently challenging enough to the point where I needed to strongly strategize my battles and find the right team for every solution. Even post-game in the March Madness-esque tournaments, I found that even with teams that were more than solid, a bad matchup with, say, an Ice-type trainer at the wrong time could result in an upset and lose me the match. It's something that with enough game time will probably end, but it's something I've been missing from the Pokemon experience lately, and it's something that personally really impressed me. There's also that Battle Tower, which rewards you with currency to buy items that are relevant in the competitive scene, and the Daycare, which is conveniently next to a long bridge so you can hatch and breed eggs quickly and without too much tedium. It just feels like a really complete package, and maybe I'm being too optimistic, but it feels like one that should please even the most skeptical Pokemon fans, especially with the upcoming DLC on the way that also feels like attention was thrown to an equal balance between casual and competitive players. There are things I'd criticize, of course. For a couple things, I wish the wild area was more integrated within the plot, though it seems like they're fixing that a bit in the DLC, and I wish the max raid battles were less tedious. I get what they were doing with them, and I've done them on occasion with friends, but they really weren't for me. And yeah, even though I got fairly lucky with the Dexit controversy, issues with it popped up for several of my friends, and that sucks. Sometimes a game of the year for me is something that deeply impacts me or moves me emotionally. Sometimes it's just a fun experience I play a lot of. Pokemon Shield was the latter, and I'm happy that it provided exactly what I was hoping for, both in offline play and playing with friends. I think of it highly as a game, I think it'll appeal to most fans of the series, and I had a blast playing it alone and online. That's why Pokemon Shield is my Game of the Year.
And here it is, ladies and gentlemen, my favorite game of the year.
Resident Evil 2.
I've gone on record saying that the first RE remake is one of the scariest games I ever played. It took the game that I grew up being scared of and made it scarier. However, I did not grow up playing RE2, and that's probably because the first one scared me so much. So going into the remake, I actually had no idea what to expect. This was completely new for me. I had no idea about things like Mr. X, so running into him for the first time was genuinely terrifying. Resident Evil 2 Remake does this really great job at making you think you're safe in this empty area, only to immediately shatter all of your expectations, and it always works. I'm constantly on edge while playing this game. The game stresses me out like nothing else. Also, it's the game I think I played the most this year. With it launching near the beginning of 2018, that gave me the whole year to just mess around with it. Here I am, anxiously awaiting Resident Evil 3 Remake. I have a feeling it'll be just as good, if not better, than this one. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I would really like to apologize for the video being out so late. This was supposed to come out a lot sooner, but things happen, life gets in the way. I'd especially like to apologize to the collaborator BladeMountain. I kept telling him the video would be out soon, and it's only now out, so I'm sorry, Blade. Thank you for your collaboration. Go check him out, he makes some quality content. Thank you all so much for watching, and let's hope for a good 2020.
Here!
What up, bro, Seth? Ready to break a leg?